Bombadita, 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 bombadita,
Until
bombadita,
we meet
bombadita,
again.
bombadita,
Happy trails to you.
bombadita, bombadita,
Keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather.
Happy trails to you. Till we meet again.
Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. This is Doug Sashry, and as always, I am joined by
Rob Mendiola.
Greetings, Rob.
Greetings, Doug.
Well, you survived your chemical fogging.
Yeah, chemical fogging. Jennifer Moore said it's the fog machines are like nebulizers with chalk.
Yeah, that's
it's kind of how it felt.
I don't know if that's worse. Well, that is worse. But also, a friend of mine, he used to get stuff like when they would order band merch or something, and they would send them the little glitter, little glitter that you blow up in the air, like.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they'd be playing and with the fog and stuff too, and that stuff you could still see coming down like 2 or 3 songs later.
Yeah.
And
you're supposed to do it in a well ventilated area, but
do we know any venues that are well ventilated?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
There we go. Unless it's outdoors, like Cynthia Woods or something.
But yeah, I got a little fever, but put me down for a few days. I've been off all week, so
Good God.
well, still working, but working from home.
Yeah, work from home.
Yeah.
All right.
But man, we're ready to do some podcasting.
Let's do some podcasting, man.
Who do we have today, Doug?
We have on today John
Guarnieri.
Guarnieri. Yeah, see, you got it right before me. And
I got it.
And he is what Rob calls the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah.
John, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Very good.
Fantastic.
Better now.
Better now. Man, reason why we had John on is because, like a lot of people we have on, he seems to live a very interesting life, and he's got his hands, or he's got a pan in several fires,
So where are you joining us from today, John? What's
I'm at my house, Massachusetts.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he's
way out there.
Yeah, he's a northeasterner. Well,
give me the hard winters, the cold falls, and the rainy spring seasons.
Yeah,
man, we talked about that the other day.
It's beautiful out there, though, right?
Oh, it is,
yeah.
Especially during the color change, you know. But and I've only been as far as Niagara Falls, so I hadn't gone north of that. But man, that cold, I used to love it, man. But now getting 59, it's beating me down, man. But John, tell us how you started, man. I know recently you lost your father, and just following you and seeing you definitely look like you had a very close relationship with your dad, man.
Yeah, it's I've been grateful to be raised with my 2 sisters with a mom and dad that just blue collar, and just the way they appreciated life and the way they would teach us, and just be ever present. And like losing my dad in September, it was one of those things where it's like for the last 20 years we were planning for it based on the aneurysm and all the health complications and stuff. But when that day comes, and we were able to spend the last week and a half with him, and holding his hand when he died, like it's one of those things where, unfortunately, my actual career, I've been there with people that have committed suicide and seen people die. And so that I was numb to that aspect of it. But when it comes to someone you love, especially your blood, it was such a beautiful death. And I don't mean to come off as like creepy about that, but it was like he went out on his terms. He defied all the doctors for 20 years, and recently, one of my youngest sister lives in Alaska, and we were planning on this Thanksgiving get together with my sister and their family that live in Pennsylvania. And she couldn't come back out for the holidays next week just because of work and schedule and stuff. And like we were just kind of talking, like sad we couldn't be together. And it's like oddly enough, when my father died, we were all here. Like we had our Thanksgiving with him, and it's like
That's true.
so. It's like this. It just dealing with like the mental and physical loss of him. It's just like I'm forever like laughing and smiling, but something will trigger me like a color or a song, or I'll go through Netflix and see a movie we used to love watching together. Like at Christmas time, it was to be super tough because it's like every year we would do the same stuff, whether it's ornaments or watch Christmas Vacation, drink eggnog, and like all these little things you do for 40 years of my life. It's like it's no longer there, and so I don't know. It's just I know people go through grief, and it's like I don't think it's one of those things where we have to shy away from it. And as men, like it's okay to be emotional about the loss of a loved one or a friend, and it's like it's cathartic to me. And I know I've always had this biggest regret, like he never got to see me in the touring world, doing the stuff with the bands and stuff because of his health, and now he can be everywhere with me. And so
Yeah,
like
that's
it's just
true.
one of those things where it's a lot. But like thank you for asking. And I know different people go through different stuff, but grief is very much a real thing, and I don't know if anyone has the right answer to it, but we all have to get through it together.
No, and like I said, I just appreciated the seeing the closeness and the respect for him that you had, and like I said, having two parents in my 90s, I always say that, and because of my faith, it's a good path, but yeah, and what these people stamp on us, our parents when they're in our lives all these years, it'll never leave us. But I can't. My dad's never played a instrument in his life, but every time I hear "Leader of the Band" by Dan Fogelberg, I immediately think of my dad. Yeah, so I sent him that song one year, and I said, "Man, every time I hear this is what I think." And he actually cried, man. Yeah, so my dad's not a big tear guy, but the older you get, you kind of get reminiscent on stuff like that. But man, tell us how did what started all for you? I mean, you've got your hands now in Spear Talk. He's got a podcast. He does barbecue and brews, or is it barbecue, booze, and brews?
It's Booze, Brews, and Barbecue. We're shooting the first season now. It's my friend Ty Sherrill, who's a barbecue foodie and master, or just a really great barbecue guy in Texas, and then Barry Kirk, the drummer for Shinedown. And it's called Booze, Brews, and Barbecue, and we're shooting the first season. And it's a destination show where you go into a city and we learn about the history and the paranormal, usually like obviously a haunted location. And we tie that into a local brewery or winery or distillery, learn about their process and meet the community there. And then we tie it into a foodie, like a barbecue place joint. And it's pretty surreal. Like, 'cause a lot of times you watch all these shows and stuff, especially paranormal, it's just like a lot of hokey bullshit. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can swear on here.
No, it's okay.
But like, it's a lot of the where it's just like we just want to be ourselves in really situations that we're not comfortable with like the paranormal and stuff. And we're all very deeply religious, and so it's just kind of like learning the technical side of that stuff. And so the viewers and fans next year will be able to catch the first season. And it's one of those things where it's like we've had such a blast doing this, meeting all these people of different backgrounds all across the country, and that's a total blast. And so that kind of, I know before we went on live or we started talking, we were talking about the pandemic, and the two things that came out of the pandemic for me, besides complete anger and just sense of sadness for people that had to deal with this stuff, was the podcast Spear Talk, which I started within the first 6 months of the pandemic, because one of the joys about my job touring with bands like Shinedown or Motley Crue or Rush and stuff like that is I get to meet people around the world that I'm friends with, whether it's security or local staff or friends, or just jump into the culture, right? And with that missing, I still need the concept of like talking to people. And so the podcast started with just my friends and whoever people I knew, different, whether it's law enforcement, the Constitution, bands, art, actors, whatever it was. So it's still going to this day, and it's doing amazing. And there's an offshoot of that we launched this past year with Eric Bass from Shinedown called Taco Tuesdays, which There is no agenda there. We talk everything from UFOs to faith to mental health.
Yeah, I saw that. He does do some good shows, man.
Yeah, and so did that, and then the other thing was Booze, Brews, and Barbecue. One night on Instagram Live, I was obviously drunk, and we're playing trivia and just goofing off, playing music, and I had this idea come to me, and I wrote it down, and then I talked to Barry from Shinedown, who I tour with, and we're like, man, this is a great idea. We should use that third perfect personality. And then last year, the right before the start of last year, we met Ty, and it kind of all came together. So it's like if there was a blessing in the pandemic, I was able to kind of like hyper focus on the parts of me that I never really got to do, whether because I'm from high school, I went to military college, and then I was in the Secret Service for almost 8 years, and then I jumped private to my own private security firm. And so I've always been like security and law enforcement related, and I've always been creative and writing and stuff. But this kind of allowed me to kind of branch out and then work a different part of my brain and just kind of like make me feel more whole. And so that I got all that going on. I got my second poetry book that comes out next week. I wrote 2 poetry books in a year, and which is I'm not a journaler per se. I do take a lot of notes, obviously with like podcasting and work, but I've never been one to write my feelings down like dear journal, I'm feeling sad today, or I'm happy. Like I'm just not wired that way. But what I realized is as emotions would trigger me in memories and stuff, I write my poetry is in a very casual sense. Like there's no structure or rhyming. It's very, I don't use slang, but it's done in a way where how I were to read my poetry that you would read in the book is how it came out of my mouth or I came out of my pen. And so I think it's obviously been found to be relatable to people.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Is that called spoken word? Is that kind of that format?
People have told me to start doing that. I'm not, I don't know. It's one of those things where obviously it would help like the marketing per se. And people would understand. Because if you guys were to write a poem or
right.
Say take Dr. Seuss, Red Fish, Blue Fish, One Fish, whatever.
Right.
If we were all to read that poem, our breakdown, enunciations, and spacing and timing would all be different.
Yeah.
And so with my stuff, it's like with different commas or different. There's a reason why I capitalize the word father or mother. Mm-hmm. Or certain things like faith or Jesus. Like this is the way the structure I do stuff. I love the fact that poetry has no rules. And so I got that coming for me, and I got all the security work I'm doing and stuff. And it's a lot. And a lot of times people are always like, man, how do you have time for all this stuff? Yeah. And it's obviously some days where I wake up and I'm like, man, I don't feel like doing anything today. But then you kind of come to and have a coffee, and then you're like, you know what? Like I might be physically not able to work out today because I'm tired, or mentally I don't want to deal with this advance, but I can write. I can create a comic book. I can write my poetry book. I can podcast. And so each of these avenues of my life allow me to kind of like heal those other parts as I'm hyper focused on the other one, where I never feel burnt out. If I've ever got burnt out, like one day, like I might get burnt out of say security work or writing, but I might feel like I can still talk to people. I can still podcast. I can still write about werewolves in World War II in my comic book. So it's like, I don't know, like I find joy in staying creative and busy. The minute I slow down is when I kind of feel complacent.
Yeah, creative people just have to create.
Yeah, and I think that's something I saw in him, and it's something that reminded me because I like moving, and I don't like if we had the company, and I've always been on the road. And if that changed, if I didn't have my for me, that's all I know, is mentally being able to do this, that, 45 minutes, that's all you get. That's what I tell people, and I'm out. And, I like that aspect that you can kind of shut that off and you find something else you're stoked up again because you're on the, trying this out. And Rob is the same way a lot on, sick. Yeah, sick my happy ass, man. The guy's over here on a computer nonstop. I don't care if he's got one finger. Yeah, and
as long as I'm not dying, I'm good to go.
He works from sun up to sundown basically, and we'll actually much past sundown often. And I like Yeah, there's always something going on. It's different when my cousin goes, the one that runs our company, and when he goes home, or when he gets off on the weekend, he shuts it off, and that's what helps him operate. But me, like, there's, and with a lot of people like John or whatever, I can't. We're just wired. There's wired.
Yeah.
Everybody's wired, and everything has a fit. No one's better than the other, but they all work together because everybody's good at their part. But that mentally change. How do you shut your brain off at night? That's what I want to know.
For the longest time, I would always watch like movies and stuff. And oddly enough, I can't watch new movies or new shows or listen to a new podcast at night because I can't. I'm not alert enough to appreciate the art or what they're saying or try. It's more of a put a movie on I'm familiar with where I can fall asleep and not feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah,
in a weird way, like I feel like when I'm tired or sleeping, I have major FOMO, and I have this fear that the minute I take 8 hours off, that someone's doing more than me.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird driving mechanism where I need to always feel like I am pushing myself to the limit. And so decompression for me is in the summer sitting by the campfire, drinking some beer, having a cigar, or going for a hike, or just hanging with my friends and just playing game nights where I could just be myself, which I'm always am, without any like feeling of like I need to be creating or doing something that is pushing me along.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Yeah, how to shut it off? Like I said, there's so many things, because I feel that if you're like that, and I know it's
hard. It's hard shutting off.
It's hard.
Like,
then I have kids, and then I'm thinking about this one. This one's going in for a job interview. We're to get it. I told my kids the other day. I said, the last thing I'm going to think about before I close my eyes are, my kid's all right. It doesn't matter. They all could be perfectly fine, but that's exactly what's going to go through my mind right now. At least that's what I think. But it's just how do you shut that off when you have so many things going on? Yeah, it's that's a question I've always
It's
had.
oddly enough though, I wake up super refreshed because I don't really dream much, but I don't nor do I manifest anything. I'm a firm believer in if you have a goal, put all the work in and give your mind, body, and soul to that. And if it happens, it happens. But if it doesn't, maybe you didn't go hard enough. And like I'm able to look at it that way. But like when I wake up, I feel like I don't know. Like it's kind of corny to say like every day is a new day, but in reality, when it comes to once you turn over the pen or shut down the laptop the night before and kind of just drift to sleep, it's a new day tomorrow. It's like the stuff you might want to get out of your head, whether it's something creative or whatever, might not have happened. And maybe you need those 8-10 hours just to kind of like roll around your head more. I'm a firm believer that stuff that you envision and ideas you have in your head, even if you don't put them on paper or put them out in the stratosphere with talking to your friends about it or just kind of like trying to figure it out, if it's meant to come out, it's going to come out. It's just, I think a lot of times people have these false sense of hopes of, well, as long as I pray and as long as I manifest, you still have to do the work.
That's
and
right.
A lot of times,
totally.
the biggest, and I'm a huge I do think prayers work. I'm not saying that, but I do believe that we deserve to give ourselves the best fighting chance no matter what we do in life, whether it's being a mom or dad or a son or a sister, a brother, a friend, a coworker, a writer, a creator. And if you don't put yourself in that position, you have no one else to blame but yourself.
I agree with that totally. Faith is faith is important to me, but I also believe in God gave us these tools to use and use them. Don't waste them.
Yeah,
And
it's the other thing too. I always laugh about. It's like when people are successful and they win a game and they're like, "Oh, I thank God." It's like I'm starting to see now recently more athletes and people that don't win still thanking God. Or there's something to that where that shift is changing, and I'm forever grateful to that. Because it's like it's so many times where it's like you have a big promotion coming up or a big meeting or a big project that people are going to decide the outcome of it, and it's like you pray, you pray, you pray. When you don't get it, if your first thing is not to pray, maybe it wasn't meant to be because you're riding the coattails of these prayers in your relationship with God. When in reality, you should be having this relationship with yourself and putting in the damn work. Because prayers aren't there to solve your answers. I think at least my relationship with God, especially with my dad and stuff, like I had this anger for a couple of years when I go to church and I just didn't pray enough. And as you slowly saw the humility of my father with never complaining and forever grateful and still devout to his faith to the last breath and stuff like that, where it's like it kind of humbled me and put me in a position where it's like even on my good days I have to be thankful to God and talk to God, and even the shitty days more so. And it's like I don't know, I just feel like at least the last couple of years there's been this turnaround where faith is not as hidden in the shadows. The people are actively talking about it, and that makes me feel good.
Yeah, it's funny. I have, I guess, what's called Catholic guilt, and and I think about something like I prayed for something like this, and it's always to do with, somebody like health or something like that, and or health, and then it all works out. Then about a day later, I'm like, oh, I forgot to thank God for, because it's easy to be crying when there's something wrong, but to be,
you forget all about it. When
when it's all done. I promise I'll never do this again. I'll never drink, whatever. But no, it's to be thankful after and for the gifts given, and you're right. I mean, you won't. I wish everybody could play sports in a way to learn winning and losing. You have to learn how to win.
You can't win all the time.
And you have to learn how to lose. Yeah, and it's not. And all is not lost when you learn. You learn a lesson when you lose, and it's what not to do next time. I think.
I think there's always that misconception where you're only a winner if you win the championship, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
This is true.
And so it's like we put like these accolades, we put like this finite, a trophy or a plaque or something. Oh, I'm the best. Right now. It's just like the people that come in second place or third place or don't even place but still show up and compete or do their thing. It's like they're winning.
Yeah.
They're chasing their dreams and their goals, and they're putting themselves because it's tough when you compare it to sports because it's like everyone sees the dollar signs and the endorsements and you got to be number one, you got to be the best jersey seller, all this stuff. And it's like I do get that. I'm also a firm believer that there is first place, there's second place, there's last place. And no one, just because you competed doesn't mean you get a trophy. But the idea of competing that's the trophy you should be going for because you're giving yourself a chance to compete.
Yeah,
it's the race, it's the competition, it's the hard work. That for me is the winning.
I agree.
You kind of learn who you are in those places, too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you figure out where the grit is.
Yeah.
Where the grit on your bones is. And you're gonna have some super shitty days, and you're gonna get you punch in the face. You're gonna be stuck in the mud. You're gonna be sick, right? And it's just like you can sit there and feel sorry for yourself and all this stuff. And it's like deep down, and so you do have a right to be like, man, if you're hurting, you're hurting. It's like, but you have to realize that you still owe it to yourself to give yourself 100% every day.
Yep.
And the people that don't do that, they're the first ones that bitch and complain about stuff, or I was raised in this household and I did this. Well, I know just as many people that are raised in those same situations that made a name for themselves.
Yeah, I think.
And so it's like stop coming up with excuses.
Yeah, I think there's something that I kind of talked to, and I reaffirmed. Somebody asked me to give somebody a little reaffirming talk yesterday, and about it's like the little click clackers. You remember the I guess it was probably before. Well,
yes,
before I would say maybe before your time, but if something, all of us in one way or another, and it's some. There's some horrible trauma that you can run into in life, and most of us will experience one version of it or another. It may knock you off that course. It may dip you down for a second, but it's like jerking you. It's like autocorrect on your car. It pulls you back. you are responsible for the path in life. Never let somebody else dictate your path in life. You are responsible for it. And I tell people also that, love yourself first. Be honest with yourself. But if you can be honest with yourself and happy with who you are, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. That's and when you have a lot of positivity in who you are in life, that's naturally going to radiate out to those who are the closest among you that matter the most to you. And
Correct.
Yeah, that's just a philosophy, boy. Sometimes it's hard to get there. I tell my kids, I said when I was, 17, 18, I wanted respect and all this. And I lifted my head up later in my 30s like, oh, okay. And it just, my dad told me, put your head down and bust your ass. Now, he didn't mean only for 5 years, but he said bust your ass for 5 years and it'll make it a lot easier down the road. And he was right, And the lesson, like I told you, yesterday we were chatting a little bit back and forth. The lessons that our parents teach us, the good and the bad. I mean, that's none of them are perfect, and we're not. And
Right.
It's just going forward in life, And boy, that's I'm forever grateful for my parents, and like I don't know why none of my cousins have either parent left, and they're my dad's siblings were younger and older, and I have both of my parents. I always tell my cousins that God knew who the biggest wuss was in our family and needed them longer, But
Right.
So going back to the booze, blues, and barbecue.
Yeah. No.
So doing that tour, do y'all have like a film crew, or how are y'all doing that?
Yeah. So we have a 2 to 3 person film crew that does all the
multi-camera.
Yeah. Can I cut
Yeah,
in?
multi-camera. What's that?
So let me cut in for just a second, John, on this.
You weren't done yet?
No. Well, no. Actually, I wanted to say something about this before you got in, because it kind of can lead into Tim telling us the rest of this. I could have left a day later, but I was going to the West Coast with Scotty last year, and then I was going to go up to Osk. And so I left, and I get to Phoenix, and you know what I see on my phone that night? And I get texts, hey, man, why weren't you down at H Wines? Everybody was here. I'm like, God damn it, man. I had no clue that was going on. Yeah, so I had no clue.
Oh, God. Yeah, that place is Montgomery. Yeah, we're talking about Montgomery, Texas.
Yeah,
and,
that's where I live.
Leah Lamplight Ghost Tours. Both the Ghost Tours each night started and ended there. The second night was all like the owners of H1 Vines are like their storytelling, their class, their professionalism. Like I had such a fun night.
I knew y'all
Maybe
would.
a little too much fun.
Yeah, I knew y'all would love it. Let me tell you what. Steve Harry, him and his wife are just fantastic people.
And what is the name of the place?
H Wines.
H Wines.
Yeah, and it's an old bank. Like I'm talking about old that got converted, and they have the safe still. In fact, But if you ever come back, and Steve was telling me y'all talked about the schedule and all that. But if you ever come back anywhere from like, that's right in the middle of touring season too. But that March to May period is the best in the world for crawfish, which is right next door, man. And they got a guy from
that place was closed when we left the first night because Barry loves crawfish, and like we were actively looking to go there, and it was closed.
Let me tell you, that's that guy one of the two owners there. One is the guy that does security stuff, runs security stuff at the airport at IH, and the other one is from Louisiana. And you let me know when you're coming in. I've had plenty of guys come in and get crawfish, but that's the best time is March to May. And I know that's right in the middle of goddamn touring time too. So it is how it is,
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, sir. But no, go ahead, man. Like I said, I saw your videos, and I remember I messaged you like, God damn it. I had no clue this was going to go on. I definitely would have stayed.
Yeah, it's so we have a 2 to 3 man video team crew. We have a agent that books our events and just does the contracting and stuff. But in terms of like the show ideas, the concepts, and like production, me, Ty, and Barry are all the producers and everything. And we keep it close knit. We bring in guests every now and then, different actors or musicians to film with us. But we keep it super small. It is growing. At least we've done 4 events now that have all sold out, like proper, like 150 cap rooms where people buying tickets, and,
Wow.
and we do a bunch of Q&As. We do guest pours of beer and barbecue, and so it's like it's growing organically, and I think people are going to be amazed when they. And obviously, we tease the reels and the videos and stuff, but like when you see the full show, people are going to be pleasantly surprised. It's like the perfect concoction of the paranormal and the serious and the history, but our humor, I think, was we kind of realized after the first episode, which was in Fort Worth, Texas. We just kind of, the humor is what's going to set us apart from all these other shows, because it's like you can't watch a paranormal show and not be everyone super serious or screaming or people saying everything's demonic. And it's like we've captured stuff that we can't explain, and experts in the field, I would say, can't explain either. But we're so like human about it. We're so ourselves and authentic that we're going to crack a joke that is borderline questionable to even crack, but we're going to say we're just being ourselves. And I think that's what's the selling point, where it's just super relatable.
Yeah, I thought it. I thought it definitely was too.
So where are these on? What are these on? What format are these on?
I've only
so we haven't. The first episode season will come out next year. I think end of the first quarter or start of the second. We've had talks with everyone from Discovery to like HBO to other stuff like that. For us, it's a matter of 100% creative control. I don't want someone telling me I can't say this, can't go here, can't do this.
Yeah.
And like it's in this day and age, and we can put this on Hulu or Prime or Netflix ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's like I don't need someone to tell me this is a great idea. Like I'd love to. No, I know it's a great idea. No one else has done it, and so that's why I'm just like I speak for Tyler and Barry, or Ty and Barry too, where it's just like, yeah, we'll work with someone and stuff. We have those talks and calls, but ultimately, like, what do I don't need you for? Because how many times do you see a trailer for a show? Oh, come on, USA Network or TNT, and then it only lasts 8 episodes because all those people, all those production companies on those shows do is buy the rights to your idea and concept and shelve it until they think they want to release it.
Yeah.
And I don't want. It's not worth my time or place. Or I'd rather bet on myself, which I've done my whole life.
Yeah, and that's I'm sure Barry knows that policy too, is own what you're doing.
100%.
Yeah, that's no, it's fantastic. I love what y'all do. They mix it into the little humor. They also sit around like in the videos, and they were tasting this heated.
Yeah, it was 1 million Scoville hot sauce.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but weren't y'all putting it on a? Yeah, was it? You have one that's mixed in that honey, right, as well.
Yeah, so the company's called Torchbearers Hot Sauce, and they're the ones that do the Shinedown hot sauce. They've got a bunch of them on the Hot Ones podcast TV show,
right?
Where the celebrities get the questions and the stuff and do all that. And they brought 12 of their hot sauces, and then they brought a tencher, which they haven't made into a hot sauce yet, but it was like over 1 million Scoville. That's the one you see us getting the wood stick and just like, putting a dab of it on our tongue.
I was shaking my head, man. I was shaking. I was like, God damn it, man.
I mean, that's the hottest. That is the hottest, most stressful I've ever done in my life. It kind of helped us. We had to build up from the heat, so like our mouth was already destroyed. But the minute that hit my throat, like I could feel it like punching my heart.
Damn.
God, dude. Yeah, I looked at that and I was like, a lot of times people look at me just because I'm a Cajun and we're in the spice industry. They think that I like it hot. I don't. I really don't. I like flavor.
No, like give me traditional Cajun. I love base seasoning. Like I love all the Cajun spices, like Louisiana, the po' boys, like all that stuff. But like my thing with heat is like I need to be able to enjoy. There has to be a taste to it. Like just don't be hot to be hot.
Yeah, and
luckily all those hot sauces have a purpose and with the right pairing of food or whatever. But I mean, it's still hot. Like 1 million Scoville is super hot.
Jesus,
and so like I don't.
It's hot, man.
Right. So like I know there's hotter and people that love that stuff. So be it. But I went from a couple of years ago thinking jalapeno poppers were hot to
that's
now where it's like
that's
now it's habaneros for me. Habaneros to me now are that hot. So it's like I'm like able to kind of build up my palate per se. But yeah, so filming stuff like that is super fun for us because we can be ourselves. We kind of push ourselves physically with food.
Yeah, and I like that. Like I said, in fact, I plan on dropping in on you, boy, at in Midlothian, which the barbecue guys just south of DFW.
Yeah, Ty.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll stop in and see him. Yeah, I love the clips I've seen. I can't wait to see the show, man. And my next question, man, was how'd you get in the Secret Service? Did you do a little bit of military before that?
So I went to a military college called Norwich University. It's the oldest military college in the country. The founder of West Point graduated from Norwich.
Oh, wow.
And I did 4 years, Navy ROTC. I had a dream of being a submarine or a system warfare officer. But my dad got sick my start of sophomore year. And when it came time to kind of look at paperwork to sign and commission as a lieutenant, my biggest fear was if I get deployed, I'm not there to take care of my mom or my sisters, my dad. So
Yeah.
I kind of like pivoted. I still did the 4 years of military college, still did the Navy ROTC, which I loved. But my friend from 2 years earlier than me graduated with the Secret Service. He was on the motorcade unit with all the bikes and stuff, doing all that crazy stuff. And he's like, dude, you gotta. Because I was looking at like DEA, ATF, like door kicking. I mean, you watch all the Steven Seagal movies and like that. Yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And so I put my eggs in the basket for that. And like the whole process started middle of my junior year of college with polygraphs and background checks and psych evals and all that stuff that goes with that. I got in there in 2008, and I did that through 2014. And then the campaign year with Obama and Romney, I was home 19 days.
Wow.
So I got kind of burnt out, and I went through a divorce, and I still love the security world, but I was like, man, the politics here are just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
everywhere.
And,
it'll drive you away.
yeah,
dude.
it's stupid. It's like Secret Service is apolitical. It's apolitical. Like no one's wearing bumper stickers and say I voted. Like no one cares per se, but just the stuff I saw and did, and obviously stuff I can't really talk about, where you just get kind of like beat down by it. Cause you wake up in the back of a C-5 or a C-17 cargo plane in some country, you don't know where you are because you just like completely like. And so I met my CEO and partner in the security firm today, back in 2012. When he was with an artist, and we kind of hit off. Like I made the call saying, "Hey, I'm burnt out of the political world, government world, but I still love what I do. Like we should get together and kind of brand something." And then we branded Silver Spear Group, and we've been doing that ever since 2014. And oddly enough, the politics in the entertainment industry are just as stupid, maybe more so. The only caveat here is that I'm my own boss. I really only answer to myself and the company, and obviously the clients you work for, but I don't need 45 people in an email telling me I'm doing this or doing that. I just
Right.
decide to do it.
No, yeah, that's good, man. That's a good place to be, and
You got the discipline for it, so
yeah,
that makes the difference.
yeah. But there's no drama in the music industry, so don't worry about that. But,
No, just too much haze. Yeah.
yeah, that's now. Yeah, so how long have you been running with Shinedown?
Since 2016, 17.
You know, it's funny. We might have run across each other. I was in Biloxi on when about 4 months before Jelly Roll broke big. I was back there with Bartlett, and we went back there, and we were back there the whole time. I left bags, so I met Zach and his wife and his.
Are you the one that brought the crawfish?
No, I'm the one who brought the little crawfish sacks with spices in them. I brought that.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
was
got
me.
it.
But everybody else was worn out. But yeah, it was nice being back there. But man, that is a lot of people, dude. Between Pyro and everybody else, that's a good crew, man.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a tour that size, you're probably 4 or 5 buses, 9 or 10 trucks, probably close to 70 crew people.
Wow.
Yeah, and
It's a lot.
yeah, they were very dedicated. But yeah, I think the biggest laugh I got the whole night was his kids running around shooting those little. I can't remember what kind of pistols.
Gel blasters.
Yeah, and they just popping them at each other. You're just getting people in the back, and stuff. And yeah, I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty
it was
funny.
awesome.
Well, now, yeah, I had no clue that you were running with Motley Crue too until I saw the stuff you posted. Like, oh, okay. So
Yeah, I've been doing that for the last 3.5 years, I think. Yeah, so it's busy. Like I still love my job, and I still love do what I do, and I'm grateful for that, the opportunities. But again, like we talked earlier, it's like you still have to put in the work to be at that level, and so it's like I'm always pushing myself to go bigger and harder and faster and stronger, but it also takes work, and it's one of those things where it's like you can't take your foot off the gas. Especially in that industry, because people are looking to slit your throat if they have opportunity to do it.
yeah, dude, yeah, that's definitely the case.
All industries.
Yeah, it's definitely the case here. And plus, you have to when y'all are doing do you work mainly on interior security, or is it exterior and all that stuff as well? How's that kind of work? Without giving away trade secret.
When I'm with a band, I'm their personal, and so I advance how the venue security is set up, hotels, any type of movements for day off or promo. And so you work with local teams. Like every venue has their own house security.
Right.
If there's a situation where you have a stalker or death threats, which we have all the time, you bring in the local police and you come up with a plan of attack. Festivals are a little obviously bigger because now it's some of those big festivals like Rockville and stuff where it's 70, 80,000 people. Not only do you have the local security and the police departments, the local officers, but you have the state, you have federal and military involved in some aspects. And so it's just basically all about the advance and what you need for a safe show for not only the fans, but the band and crew as well. And it's all calls, it's all emails, it's all face-to-face. And I've been doing this long enough where I can walk in any venue and know half the security team working there.
That's good.
So I really don't have any issues. I mean, there's always the one thing with the pandemic that chased off either people that are really good, people that didn't want to get vaccinated for whatever reason, or they had whatever, or people that got sick and passed away. And so like this shift that happened in like 2003, 2004, the industry is coming back out of this. I mean, probably at the rate where it's like, how can there be more shows you keep announcing? But it feels like there was that reset of people that loved what they did or did their job well, and it got flooded with half-asses and people that just looking for an easy paycheck. And security is one of those things where, oddly enough, it's the last thing people think about when it comes to an event or a tour. It's the first thing an event or tour will blame. And so it's like, at this level, you have to be on your game so high that you carry a lot of weight and responsibility. And I finally get the sense that these venues are starting to start working with the right people again and stuff. But like, I remember, especially Texas, like everywhere through Dallas and Houston and Corpus Christi and Austin, like there's so many great teams down there. And it's when you go through there recently, you kind of, man, half those people are gone. They left because they didn't want to do whatever, or they got sick, or this guy passed away that I didn't realize because I hadn't seen him in 2 years. So it's like, it's all about the responsibility of you as what you want for your artist and working with good people. But I don't really, festivals and stuff, I'm more aware of like logistics for like if there's a unattended package or an active shooter type stuff, or like, but you have to trust a lot of the locals that know the evacuation routes and stuff like that. And obviously, you go over the stuff in security meetings, but there's a level of trust there. And I've been fortunate enough where anything I've ever needed for a show, I've ended up getting. So
that's good, man. Yeah, that's a curious aspect, but it's an interesting feeling. It'll keep you busy for about 3 months at a pop, take a little breather, then 3 months at a pop, or so that's man, you're always on the go. What about I guess and I wanted the poetry, man. Like I said, I didn't expect to see that out of you, but when I did and I read, I was like, man, that is pretty damn cool. I really liked it, and I had no clue there was the Why don't you tell everybody about the offer right now with the on your poetry? A humble poet, by the way, on Instagram.
Yeah, so I came up with that name. I was sitting by a fire last year. Like, I didn't decide to write a poetry book or even put my poetry out. So I don't know. This is one thing where I'm cloudy. Or I know it was something related to my dad that happened a year ago, where I was just like while I don't journal, I just started memories. I was cutting the grass or something, and I realized, like, as I started to lower, like, it's been like 8 years since my dad had the strength to pull the cord on a lawnmower. And so that kind of triggered these little microcosms of my memories in my mind of little things that as people get older, you stop doing, you don't realize you're in the good times, like that TikTok that's out there now. And so it's like that moment triggered me where I got super emotional and I just started writing my thoughts. Like how I wrote that poem is literally how I thought that in my head. That was literally one take straight through, and that's how I end up doing a lot of my writing. I'll be triggered by something, and I'll just write it out. Like, very rarely, out of probably, I have probably a couple thousand books or pages of poems, and very rarely is there ever been a time where I can't write that straight through without ever making a correction. It's like a weird thing where it's like I'm just pulling these thoughts in my head, and they come out in a way. And the side note, in college, I basically got a major in English without even trying because I love writing.
Yeah,
I've always loved creative writing. I've always loved all that stuff and like a way with words. And in high school, I'd always look at like the synonyms of thesaurus and stuff and just try, obviously for insulting people.
Yeah.
But like you would just kind of, I just always loved the English language as an art form. And so I started doing that. And last year, or January, or April 19th of my 40th birthday, I set the goal of releasing my first book, which I did. And then as stuff happens in my life, the last 4 or 5 months, I wrote another book that comes out next week. It's all on Amazon. It'll be paperback and digital and hardcover eventually. But it's one of those things where sometimes when I'm in a creative rut and I don't have work to kind of distract me per se on the road, last year I started writing custom poems for people, and the caveat was it's a one-of-one. I'm not going to publish it, but help me. I want to challenge myself to write for something I didn't experience. Whether it's obviously we all can relate to breakups and relationships and loss and death and life. But like some situations where people have reached out, I'm really struggling with the mental health and this domestic violence stuff I had dealt with a couple years ago. Like, could you write about it? And it really challenged me to use my grasp of how I interpret the English language and the word usage to emote a feeling for someone that's gone through domestic violence. Because I've never gone through that. I've never gone through. Well, I know people have gone through it. I know people have gone through a foster care system or a suicide per se that's close to home, but I've never experienced it myself. And so it kind of challenged me. It helped me kind of reset as I kind of jump into writing for me again. And it's like, it's one of those things too, where it's like when you write for something else that's not for you, while I'm not careless with the English language in the sense of I'll just say what I say and how I write it is how I would say it out loud. But when you're talking about someone else's life or feelings or emotions, the reason why they're reaching out to you is because they're looking for some sort of healing. And the relationships and friendships I've made from total strangers have reached out to write a poem for them. It's pretty surreal. And like they always check in. And it's just like you go back and look at these poems I wrote for other people. And it's just kind of like, man, like it's just like, this is what it feels like to be a foster kid. This is what it feels like to go through miscarriage, stuff like that. That again, I haven't gone through, but here I am grappling what these people's feelings or emotions are and writing about them. It's like it healed me, but also creatively reset myself where I can start thinking about myself, because I just can't be like, okay, I'm going to write something today about X or Y or Z. That's not how I write. I could go a week without writing, and I could write 45 poems tonight.
Yeah.
And so I do. It's a challenge of writing for other people on a self-imposed deadline. Where the more information you give me about you, I can jump in there and just go through. It usually takes me 20 minutes just to I try and get in their person's shoes and just figure out how they're saying it. And even when the people message me, what they say or type, how they type that is what I lead on to because I see stuff that stands out. So it's a crazy experience. And if anyone could for people that are writers or people that draw or obviously the art, do art for someone else because you'll appreciate the art you do for yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting that you explained it like that because then now I see for your text what I told you when we flipped subjects on what I wanted to have written about. I'm like, okay, now I get it because it's kind of hard if you've never been through something to understand it.
But I also do, based on what you sent me, your trepidation on of the concept of what you wanted.
Yeah.
It didn't allow me to jump in there. Sure, part of me's oh, I could do with this, but until you break down the root of it, then I was like, oh my God, I totally get this.
Yeah.
And again, that's you. In an odd way, what you wrote about your dad is very similar to stuff about with my dad or other dads I know in my life or uncles and stuff that have kids where it was such a surreal kind of thing because it helped elicit emotions in me that I have for my father, whether it's about the faith or the tough upbringing or just being loyal or just these different things you talked about where it's just man, this is it's profound. But I knew when I saw the stuff you had sent through, okay, this is someone that has such a strong relationship with his dad. And it made it be easier for me because I could relate to it more too because this is someone that has a lot of obviously different scenarios and backgrounds, but something I can relate to as this person has a devout love and devotion to their father.
Well,
it's just
I appreciate that 1,000 times over. It's like I told you, it's very hard when your parents get old to get them anything. It's you want to make an impression, and I do a lot of funny stuff. I try to be funny. I got the Simpsonized blanket of my brother, me, and my dad, and I gave him that.
Yes.
I've done the bobblehead of my dad. Just anything that I can think of that's a little bit different and a little bit odd. And so yeah, I definitely appreciate that. There's a buddy of mine that we've had him on here, and he's in Houston, and I'm sure there's places around the country that is too, but he goes all over the country and parts of the world with. They do a documentary on like a parent or somebody in your life or it's a CEO that's retiring, and I found that very fascinating as well. If you do, we have so many tools now that we can document our loved ones or people that are strong influences in our life that we can hold and share forever. I mean, back for our great grandparents and all that. I mean, you maybe had black and white photos or something. You get okay, is that him? But man, we have so many opportunities now to save stuff, and I think it's very shareable, But what you do, I think is very unique, and that's what I appreciated about it. That I was like, oh, wait a minute, I was trying to think of somebody that I could gift this to, but wait maybe until it was. Somebody was sick and need somebody asked me the other day to send a video. Her mom's a big Tony's fan. His mom was going through a cancer thing, and I did. I sent a video, but a situation like that I thought would have been perfect. But then I was like, wait a minute, my dad, and it's both my parents, but I think my dad I think for him. Getting to that point, I think my mom's going to live to be 195. I'm pretty sure, but dad, like my dad, we got to change. We changed oil on him about every 10 days, and we put WD-40 on him, and he's ready to go again. So that I just think I think it matters most there. Just to reassure. I don't know. I've just always felt
Well,
that.
it's one of those things too, where it's like you're trusting someone else to use their art medium as a way to showcase the love you have for that person. And
Yeah.
so it's like, for me, at least as a guy, if someone did that for me, and say I was going through a bad time or mental health or got injured and I need a pick me up or I need a motivational speech or something to keep me going, it's like the humility, the amount of like that I would have a friend or a son or a family member reach out to a stranger to them and be like, this is I described you to this person. This is what they came up with. It's like, that's the love right there. That's where art's powerful, because it's like you were talking about this person to a stranger who's now going to listen to what you said and create art for this person. And there's a power to that. There's
I
a
agree.
level of trust, and I think it's the best way to like showcase people that you are talking. Your dad, he might not. I mean, I don't say he might not care, but he might be like, oh, it's. But like, I bet your dad will be like, man, you talk to someone you really don't know about the love you have for me, and it's like that's the profanity right there. That's the most amazing, at least for me, the fun and joy I get out of this, because it's like I know what this means to people, because it's also a venting session too, because people are venting about, hey, I just lost my job, my wife and I are having, can you write about this? And it's like you're a therapy session too. Like you're talking to these people and trying to figure out what they're going through with no judgment, and it's just super fun. Like I recommend anyone. As a kid, remember your mom would be like, or whoever, hey, you guys sign a card to grandma or your grandpa, or your dad. It's like Happy Father's Day. That's all you'd write. And it's like it wasn't until years ago. And one of the things, my dad couldn't really write well the last couple of years, and so I would buy the cards, and then he would sign his name, but last year he couldn't really do it. I had to retrace what he wrote on the card. And so go back a couple of years, and I realized, as dumb as Hallmark and cards are, I realized this isn't about spending $9 on a piece of paper. It's the words you put on there. That's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
And it gives you the space and the organizational aspect of putting down what you really need. It's so easy to write. Go underneath what the stupid quote in the middle is, and then put love, whatever, XOXO heart. It's so easy to do that. But when you take your time to write out a card or write for someone, there is a profound power to that. And I think that's why, again, it's like for me writing, it's like I'm just writing cards to myself. And
Yeah.
I think anytime you have the chance to pick up a pen or sit at your laptop and type and whatever you're doing, just do it for you.
Yeah, I saw that. When I thought about my dad for a second, then I said, "Oh man, yeah, John just went through this." I said, and he seemed to have a humongous appreciation for his father. So I said, "Okay, yeah, this is a great project." And you know what, Rob? This is something that AI can't do.
AI's never gonna have a soul.
Yeah, AI doesn't have a soul and a heart like that, man. So
It's a shame that it's gonna kind of go that way, though.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
John, we've been talking a lot lately on.
God, AI it's such a fascinating. And I said the same thing too about the internet and like social media and multimedia, where it's just like you get glued to your laptop, you get glued to your phone, you're looking at TikTok reels and all this bullshit. And while some of it's fun, I've been trying to find stuff that's informative on there, where if I'm going to waste 2 hours of my night, I at least want to learn about the reptilian shapeshifters that are hiding into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I want to learn about this stuff, but like I'm also like, it's a necessary evil now. It's like I work with a ton of musicians that are, some are not pro AI, but they understand it, or some are vehemently against what this means, because AI doesn't have a soul.
Yeah.
AI, you could type in AI, hey, give me a poem about my dad. He's getting old. He's strong faith. We love each other, whatever. And you're going to get the most generic bullshit thing back. And I have a problem with people that can't hear an AI song that goes number one in country and not think it's the same as a song that's written by a songwriter in his basement.
Yeah, you
I could pick that out of a gun to my head, never get it wrong, because you can feel the soul of the art.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's such a fascinating we laugh about Skynet and Terminator and all this stuff, and it's like this predictive programming with Hollywood and movies and stuff they've been doing for 20 years. It's like all this stuff is coming true.
Yeah, I mean,
I live.
You're right.
I live up near Boston, and Boston Dynamics. They're making robots that can jump up boxes now and carry stuff and shoot guns and all this stuff. Where it's like,
Jesus.
dude, we saw this in '76
Yeah.
with Terminator, and it's like sci-fi in 1980 is real life today.
Yeah. Totally.
And the fact that people are just so willy-nilly giving themselves up to this.
Yeah, it's scary.
And this isn't me saying AI is I get the idea of it, but even it's making us so lazy and so addicted to. You can go to Facebook now or Instagram, instead of typing what you normally would type, you can prompt it to type for you.
Yeah, I see that.
It's like we're so lazy. It's so like we're milking off this teat of this utter laziness. And it's just so disgusting.
Yeah, use your brain, because if you don't use it, then you become reliant on that machine. Be reliant on machine like, Rob's got to get oxygen from this dam. He has to get that. But if you got,
Yeah, of course. Correct.
Rob would much rather have full use of his damn lungs, so
Correct.
yeah, don't,
Correct.
and AI, look, it's got some parts. I mean, it's kind of like fire, man. You learn how to use fire. Well, he didn't learn it and then bring it in his house and burn his house down. You've got to learn.
But it's here though, so we're gonna have to deal with it.
We got to learn, yeah. And I think of people like my buddy Blair Daly from the same town I am. Wrote "Dead Don't Die" for Shinedown on their last album. We worked with them on that one, and he's based up in Nashville. Those guys, they put their heart and soul in these projects, man. And I the AI stuff is okay in some, but yeah, in some ways, man, like I said, we played around with a couple things on it, and I was like, man, I feel dirty. I feel dirty doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad just using ChatGPT to make stupid pictures of my friends and us. But again, I get why people are like, oh, you can't use AI to use your art. Well, it's like, hold on a second. If you need a stupid poster tomorrow, you're going to commission some artist to do this. It would take him 4 months. Now, if I had the time, obviously, so for like Spear Talk, like the podcast, my friend Fernando, he does all the Shinedown guitar picks. He's creating all that stuff. It's a time-consuming thing, but it's so worth it because it's a human making cool, rad art. The people that are so judgmental when it comes to like a poster or like, unfortunately, we live in a society where if you need something, you need it done now. And I think ChatGPT, when it comes to those stupid memes and pictures, I have no problem with it per se. Now, all you're doing is just giving more of your information and shit out to the world. With these programs and facial recognition. But I don't know. Like, if ChatGPT and AI was just to like making dumb memes and pictures and turning me into a Japanese art and fighting Godzilla on the Titanic. Like, dude, like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not going to pay an artist to make that picture. Like, it would waste his time.
Yeah.
And I just need something quick.
It's just like,
but then,
no, I understand what you're saying. And
just keep it for entertainment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, look, I love my DJI drones. And, but the reason why we have laws that you can't fly them in some areas because there's always somebody who's got to take it too far. And that's the sad thing about it. About anything that mankind has, somebody's gonna abuse, and
right.
And that's sadly humanity. We've talked about this before too. You want to get so old, but I do understand when you get to a certain age, you're like, man, it's time for me to check out. I'm about done with this stuff, man. Yeah, the new stuff that comes up, it gets kind of scary, man. But just like anybody else, at 59, I'm trying to stay relevant and working with artists and if you would have told me that we would have, I've been working with influencers like 4 or 5 years ago, I probably would have died laughing, but guess what? So it's it's trying to stay relevant, but trying to keep to who you are, and it's to each his own. I don't ever tell anybody else what path to take for them, but yeah, use your brain and all that as much as you can, because if you don't, it's it gets to a point where it's too late. So
Yeah.
Hey boy.
Now, Rob, how are you? I don't know if you're familiar with him, but his name's Mitch LaFon. He's a Canadian music journalist, legendary guy, and he got the complications of long COVID. And oddly enough, I talked to him last night about stuff because trying to get him out to a show finally. But the complications where until he got this experimental drug, because Canadian healthcare is like, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
But so he's going through all this stuff. Like he wants to come down to Florida and Texas and get this done. And so it's like, here's this guy for 30 years covering all the bands where there are nobodies from Ozzy to Motley Crue to whoever it is in the rock world. And he was bedridden for a year and a half with long COVID and trying to walk again and just get outside and exercise and all this stuff. It's like he said something to me last night where he goes, I can sit here and be sorry for myself, but that's not gonna make me better, and that's not gonna do anything.
Right.
So I'm gonna live the life I have right now. Obviously, try to get better, but if these are the cards I'm dealt, this is the best fucking poker game I'm gonna play. And so I guess with you, Rob, it's like, how do you? I was fortunate enough. I don't think I ever got COVID. I never got the vaccine.
Wow.
I've never had the flu shot. I'm never sick.
He's got good blood.
And I've always been not anti-doctors and stuff, because obviously doctors saved my dad's life when they could, and so all this stuff. But when it comes to that whole thing, the mental psyche, it's just how do you deal with something happens to your body that you can't control, this awful thing happens and wipes off people off the planet and puts us in our houses. It's I feel bad that people like you and Mitch and other people I know in my circle that have to suffer for this when they didn't have a fighting chance to stop it from happening. So it's I'm just fascinated with people like you that still are here doing this thing. You're dealing with this bullshit, but you still have a purpose and you still want to find your purpose and still work. And it's just, I don't if you could talk to me about that, because it's such a fascinating discussion to have.
No, totally. It's just, I don't even notice my hose until Doug says something about it usually.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I just ignore it. It's just something I have to do,
John, he's also one of these. He's one of these hard-headed, anal shit. He's a musician too, so
I'm an artist, musician.
Yeah, so all his stuff, he's very detailed, and I don't give a damn how sick he is. He will still do it. This was the big fear was him getting COVID again after he went through this, and he had COVID.
Right.
He had COVID during Delta when that killer came through, and the 21 version. And when I wanted to start a podcast, and I've been thinking about it for a while, he was the person I knew to go to, because him and his wife, and we became real close when Rob was sick, and I said, oh, this guy's the perfect guy. He's not going to roam too far. Plus, technically, he has everything down pat. But yeah, I'm coming over. He knows I'm driving in, and like I told you, it's about 50 minutes. And he said he was feeling a little sick. Well, guess what? He actually freaking caught COVID again. It's the thing we feared, and
damn.
Yeah, and I came over, and he was under a blanket, but we didn't know at the time it was COVID. And his wife, I looked at his wife. I said, I told him we didn't have to podcast today. We could have delayed it. And she looked at him all angry because, man, he doesn't know the word stop, dude. And that's him, man.
It's work ethic and just attitude. You could, like the guy said, you could sit there and feel sorry for yourself, but that's not going to get you anywhere.
And I think mentally, I think mentally, you keeping yourself busy, I think that's kept you healthy and alive.
All the people are like, why me? Why me? And you hear it all the time. Why not you?
Yeah.
It's I still have all my hands, all my limbs. So you see these guys coming back from military and, tours, and they're lost their legs and all that. And you see them out there playing basketball and stuff. And it's, it's just attitude, man. You just got to keep
those
on going.
kids that are dying of cancer
Exactly.
in the hospitals looking out the windows. It's just
yeah, that's what I thought in the hospital. The same thing.
Right. Dude, it's like, it's not us saying you can't feel sorry or you have every right to feel sick or tired one day or hurt. But at least for me, and I know this always rubs some people the wrong way, it's like, I look at that as bad as my worst day is, I'm not dying at 6 years old.
Exactly, man.
I'm not in a foxhole being ambushed by whoever getting shot at while my friends are dying around me.
Exactly.
I broke my collarbone. Who cares?
Yeah, when I went to the hospital, they had already said I wasn't going to make it, and I don't remember a lot of that time, but I do remember being okay with it, you know. And it took them a long time to convince me to do the ventilator system, you know, route and all that, because I was like, man, I've lived 50 years, I'm good. I've had a lot of great things happen, done a lot of cool things, so I wasn't feeling sorry for myself at that point either, you know. And
right,
and it's a weird experience when you feel like you're dying, you get like this calmness come over you, and it's just a really strange feeling. But I think it's maybe it's our mind's way of like letting go, you know, and preparing you. But it's very trippy, very trippy. But no, I was totally okay. So now, like after I got out, you know, I couldn't walk and all that stuff. Had to learn how to do everything again. Swallow.
Yep.
I mean, I couldn't even swallow because I hadn't used my throat for 6 months. So it's amazing. It's amazing what your body goes through.
Yeah.
I went down to 105 pounds.
Yeah.
I looked like a concentration camp person.
Yeah, and it's funny, John, you know, his first time he got back up on stage to play, and we had a stool for him and everything like that, and he had his little air thing. He ended up not wearing his damn air thing, and he stood up the whole goddamn time and the whole set. I was like, you asshole.
You got to fight in this life, man.
He's just hard-headed.
John said it.
It's my dog right there. Yeah.
You said it though early on. You said you got to make it happen. You can pray all you want, but you still got to get your ass out there and make it happen.
Yeah, and I love that about you, man.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah, those kind of people. I asked him too. I mean, this was the time, you know, because there was so many rumors and shit. And I'm very much let me see it in front of me and taste it and touch it and okay. And I asked him, I asked his wife, I said, well, look, this is Delta version. Everybody, that whole wing, that whole floor of a hospital you're on is nothing but COVID patients. I said, how many came out? And he goes, the only way they came out was zipped up. And, it's like they were ready to write his ass off too. And they want to do a lung transplant, which he
they still want me to do a lung transplant.
Yeah, which he doesn't want to do because then he's tied to a medicine or.
Yeah, I don't like taking anything either. I'm like you. I wasn't sick. 50 years, I didn't have anything ever. No doctors, nothing. And then, bam, it hit me. And it was just crazy. It's weird.
Yeah, he's and those people in life like that inspire the hell out of me. Just like John's story and all the stuff that, he does. But yeah, your story with those things just fascinate me, man.
It's worth it when I go for my yearly and they just look at me and they're just like, we don't know how you're here.
Well, because they have they've never had this in our lifetime, 1918 was the closest, and they didn't have the technology then.
But trust me, there's a lot of people out there who have it way worse than I do, and I'm fully aware of that. So
yeah,
I still have a great life.
He's the perfect person, John, to have a podcast with. He'll do everything. He'll never quit or say no.
No, not unless I'm in
that
hospital or bleeding out.
Now, John, you got to give us some information, man. Give us, where can people find you and your work, your poetry and all that stuff, man? I think it's definitely a go-to.
So on Instagram, usually Instagram I use mostly just because it filters back to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But it's at John Silver Spear on Instagram. And then you'll see on the bio up there, like the tab to the Humble Poet, my poetry stuff, and then the Booze Barbecue, like all the podcast stuff. So if you find that page, you'll find everything else. You can kind of scroll through and find it. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. And then obviously Booze and Spear Talk are on Facebook and TikTok and stuff like that, just because you got to feed the algorithm gods, I guess, with bullshit.
Yep.
But yeah, it's I mean, I'm pretty accessible. If I don't answer right away, it's usually probably because I'm working or neck deep in something else. But I just love interacting with people and just trying to be 100% authentic at all times, the good and the bad. And It served me well, and I'm not going to change. Just even if it ruffles people the wrong way, like I don't care. Like I'm not a bad person. I'm who I am, and I'm hard on your sleeve, and very much going to say what's on my mind. And I think that's the way to do it.
No, like we say in Louisiana, do you, boo? But yeah, that's no, man. You, yeah. Like I said, I just found the things you do just so fascinating, and you're one of the people that are fun to follow, man. It's I like the things that you do, all the multifacets, and that all makes up your story. As Rob called you, the world's most interesting man.
Yeah, I was like, wow, man, I think that's great. Yeah, because if I had time to do other things, I would totally be down.
Yeah, that's good, man. But please look John up, and he's got a good package right now on his that he sends out on his Instagram. I bought a thing where I'm going to get a hardcover, a digital version, and I'm going to get a little poem written.
Tattoo?
No tattoo yet. I've got 2 of those.
Silver spear tattoo?
Boy, you never know.
Yeah.
I have to wait till the third one inspires me. But John, thanks so much for joining us today, man.
Well, thank you for the time and the talk, and we'll have to do it again.
All right.
Stay warm out there, man.
Yeah, let's tell our listeners something. Anyhow, follow John, and thanks for tuning in today, and like and subscribe. And folks, we are out of here.
Later.